25 years of excitement. Celebrating the silver anniversary of baseball's showpiece. Brought to you by Kroger.
Well, if you'd had this ticket in your hand on April 9th, 1965, you'd be on your way to the Astrodome for the first game ever in that building, a game between the Astros and the New York Yankees. The Astros are giving a replica of this ticket away to all their season ticket holders this year. And when I got mine, boy, it really brought back a lot of memories.
For a couple of seasons, Durker's teammates and the city of Houston watched in awe as the $30 million plus eighth wonder of the world took shape. And now, April of 1965, the Houston Astros were finally in their new home.
The first time we walked into the dome, it was at night, and we'd just come back from spring training, and they had all the lights on. We walked out there, and you felt like you had walked into a giant flying saucer or something. It looked like something from another century, and it was really impressive, and I was just 18 years old and a rookie, so it just about took my breath away.
An exhibition game christened the new palace, and the Yankees batted Mickey Mantle in the leadoff spot to hit the first dome homer. 48,000 people had to wait till the sixth inning for the long ball.
Here's the leadoff batter now. Mickey Mantle, and he drives one into deep center field. Wynn backs up. He's on the warning track. Near the wall, jump. He can't get it. It's a home run. Mantle hit it 406 feet from home plate.
Mantle got the milestone, but the Astros came away with the win on Nellie Fox's 12th inning RBI single. The official National League opener came a few nights later with NASA's astronauts throwing out the first pitch, and an era was born. It was a wonderful place to watch a game, but playing was another matter.
Being an outfielder, I went out in right field and they started hitting flies, and I didn't see a one, and nobody else did either, and guys were getting hit, and we were yelling and screaming that you can't play in this ballpark. And of course, that's the last thing they wanted to hear. I remember Paul Richards getting in his golf cart and driving out to right field, and he said, "You better start catching these balls in front of all these people." And I said, "Here's the glove, you try and catch it." And he took one look, and that was it.
Days later, Judge Roy Hoffhines eliminated the glare by painting the roof, which killed the grass, and that led to AstroTurf the following season.
I think the biggest adjustment was the AstroTurf. The AstroTurf was something that I think the infielders really had to adjust to, because we're coming from an outdoor, slower infield to make the adjustments here, and the ball was skipping like a wet infield. So it had some major adjustments, but this is still the first dome, and it's still the best dome, I'm going to tell you.
This is the granddaddy of the wall, there's no doubt about that, and it's got to be the epitome of dome stadiums.
Through the rest of the 60s, fans flocked to the Dome to see the building as much as the team.
We probably developed as many good major league players in the 60s as any organization in baseball. The problem was that as an expansion team, we started out with a lot of guys that were toward the end of their careers. So we really didn't have the base to build from.
There was Joe Morgan and Rusty Staub. And on the mound, Don Wilson, who fired the Dome's first no-hitter in '67 against Atlanta, facing Henry Aaron with 2 outs in the ninth.
Here comes that 3-2 pitch. He got it! It's all over! A swing and a miss, and Wilson has pitched a no-hitter. Well,
Houston was building that reputation of having a pretty good pitching staff.
There have been years when the pitching has not been a strength, but more often than not, the pitching has been one of the best aspects of the Astros organization.
And Durker was one of the main men in that rotation. The Astros' first 20-game winner in '69, he also threw a no-hitter against Montreal in the Dome. Tom Griffin, Mike Cuellar, Fred Gladding, there were plenty of other standouts, but one stood above the rest that first decade and a half.
In our organization, there's no doubt that it's J.R. Richard. Don Wilson had an 18 strikeout game, and Richard never matched that. Don pitched 2 no-hitters, Richard never matched that. But I think start in and start out, in terms of just raw, overpowering stuff, nobody really compares with J.R.
He struck out 15 in his first start, won 20 games in 1976, fanned more than 300 in back-to-back seasons and had 9 straight complete games in 1979. And just like Richard on the mound, there were a lot of good hitters in Astro uniforms in the 60s and 70s, but no one could do as many things as well as Cesar Cedeno.
In terms of the type of player that could turn a game around with the bat, and then once he got on the bases, Cesar Cedeno is the most exciting and the most multi-talented offensive player we've ever had. I think Jimmy Wynn was probably the most powerful and the most consistent home run hitter up until Glenn Davis. Now Davis is threatening to break his records. And perhaps Bob Watson is the best RBI man we ever had. But in terms of a guy who could hit a home run, or could get a walk and steal second and third and come in on a ground ball, or could hit a double and stretch it to a triple and come in on a fly ball, Cedeno could do everything.
Astro fans got plenty of highlights. The All-Star Game in 1968. The 24-inning contest that same year. And the upper deck home runs from Doug Rader and Jimmy Wynn.
I was against the Atlanta Braves, Phil Negro, and hit the knuckleball off of him. And I think we won the ball game 4-2 that day.
Was it a real slow trot?
When I got halfway to first base, I was looking at the ball. Then I kind of speeded up a little bit.
Could you believe how far you hit that one?
No, I didn't. No, I could not until one time I went up there and took a look at it. And that is a long way up.
In 1976, for the first time, a game was canceled because of weather. But not a rain out, rather a rain in. Fans, umpires, and stadium employees couldn't get to the dome because of floods outside. So the Pirates and Astros home plate became a dinner plate. The stadium was still dry. And in 1979, Ken Forsch fired the Dome's third no-hitter, again against Atlanta.
Hubbard is a last chance. And the pitch. Bouncer short. Throw to first. No-hitter. Ken Forsch has pitched a no-hit, no-run game. You'd think it was a 7th game of the World Series. Look at that.
What Houston fans wanted most was a winner, and they finally got one as the 80s began. Dr. John McMullen bought the team during the '79 season, and the next winter, he opened his wallet to make Nolan Ryan baseball's first $1 million player, and later acquired veteran Joe Morgan, and the moves paid off. The Astros won their first division title, but they needed an extra game to do it. A one-game playoff with the Dodgers, Joe Niekro providing the pitching, and Art Howe the hitting.
I got a break. There was a real close pitch on me when I hit that home run. There was a 2-2 pitch. I kind of ducked it. It was a breaking ball that probably, or could have very easily been called strike 3, because I had 2 strikes on myself. And it was called a ball. And I remember Doug Harvey was umpiring, and he just, Joe Ferguson was catching, and Fergie says, Doug, that was a strike. And Doug kind of looked at me and he says, Art, I wouldn't take that pitch again if I were you. So he threw me another one the next pitch, and I deposited it in the center field seat. So I made sure I didn't take it the next time.
Having been with the organization so long, I don't think there's anything sweeter than that first divisional title, unless it's that first World Series, and I'm still waiting for that.
The Astros did their best to keep him from waiting long. The 1980 League Championship Series with Philadelphia is still considered by many to be the best ever.
I think the most vivid thing is the kind of enthusiasm that was at this ballpark when we played here, and also at ours in Philadelphia, because they were so starved to have a team get in, the World Series.
The two teams split the first 2 games at Philadelphia. Game 3 was scoreless till the bottom of the 11th.
McGraw, ready again. Here's the 0-2 to Walling. Fly ball to left field. All right. Here comes Landeskog. They're calling it in. McGraw. Astros win.
Philadelphia came back in Game 4 with a 10-inning win. In the 5th and deciding game, for the 4th day in a row, extra innings were needed.
Philadelphia has won the National League Championship.
The height of competition in that game was as good as I can ever remember in any series and any one ball game. That was a great ball game. And the intensity of it, it was incredible. And I don't think I'll ever forget that.
I can remember going down to the clubhouse for the post-game interview, because we would take the lead in the 7th. And then they'd get the lead back, and I'd run back up to the booth, and then we'd get the lead back and run back down to the locker room, and I did that about 3 times. And I finally ended up back in the booth, and the Phillies won the game in extra innings, but it was really some ball game.
It's probably the only time, truthfully, that I was in this organization that I felt we had the best team and didn't win. I thought we had a much better team than the Phillies had, and I thought we would have won the World Series with the club we had.
1981 was another exciting year. Art House setting a club record in May with a 23-game hitting streak. And Nolan Ryan throwing an unprecedented 5th no-hitter in September against the Dodgers.
No-hitter number 5.
It led to another exciting postseason, Houston sweeping the first 2 games of the split-season playoff before being eliminated on the West Coast. Ryan continued to add to his all-time strikeout record, passing Walter Johnson in Montreal, then getting his 4,000th K in the Dome. And the Houston franchise might have continued its playoff run, but for devastating injuries. They began with J.R. Richard, then Joe Sambito, and Dickie Thon. Young players that were replaced by the emergence of stars like Mike Scott, Bill Doran, and Glenn Davis. In 1986, it all came together again, a perfect mesh of veterans and youngsters, directed by new manager Hal Lanier.
Oh, this crowd is up. They're trying to see him do it for the 3rd straight game. Smash, fair ball. Astros win. Astros win. Astros win again.
Houston started fast, winning 13 of its first 19, and finished strong, getting 24 victories in its final at-bat. 4 Astros, Kevin Bass, Glenn Davis, Mike Scott, and Dave Smith hosted the All-Star game in the Dome. And down the stretch, Houston fans saw pitching performances unequaled by any other team in the league. One weekend in particular in September was incredible. It began with an untouchable Jim DeShays.
20 consecutive game hitting tear right now for the Dodgers. Ooh, he got him. And the 2-2. 2 strikeouts to get it underway. And he did it. Boy, I tell you, now that one was up.
I think it was a time, maybe not where everything was going perfect, but I've seen tapes of it and I've watched, and I really just was concentrating as much as a pitcher can concentrate, I think.
Oh, there's a good off-speed. Oh, yeah. So that's why Mossy and Lanier put him down. And he's come back a little bit strong here tonight. That's 5 straight strikeouts. Well, you can't do any better than that.
After the 6th, I remember, because early in the year, Joe Cali had struck out 6 for the White Sox. And I think that set an American League record, or tied an American League record. So I figured after 6, I was probably knocking on some record. I had no idea exactly what the National League record was or where it stood. And then after I got number 7, I heard not just the applause after the strikeout. A couple minutes later, there was more applause. And I assumed they'd put something up on the scoreboard. You know, they flash records.
But you don't want to look.
Yeah, so I assumed, well, that must be I tied a record. And then after I got the last one, the 8th guy, there was that secondary ovation again. And I looked back and it said Jim DeShays has just established a modern Major League record, because the great Mickey Welch of the 1899 New York Spiders struck out 9 in a row. So.
You knew that beforehand, obviously.
No, I looked it up. I said, who is this guy?
And then
it doesn't count if you played for the Spiders. We'd never heard of them.
The streak was 8 in a row when Tommy Lasorda set up a pinch hitter.
Well, let's see what happens. 1 ball, 2 strikes after number 9. Oh, he didn't get it. Well,
people have asked me, are you bitter? What kind of a move was that on Tommy's part? I think he did it to stop the string. Now, whether that's ethical or however you sportsman like, you know, maybe he just said, I'm sick of seeing this. Let's get something going. You know, and that's his prerogative.
The next night, Ryan would fire a 1-hitter. And the following day, Houston had a chance to end the homestand by clinching the pennant.
You know, coming to the ballpark that day, I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to win the division here. We didn't want to go to Atlanta and win it there, because we had a lot of people here, and you know, you always want to be out there on the field and get that last out in your home ballpark when you win a division. And I was pretty pumped up. I know that. The first pitch I threw, I think I hit their leadoff hitter right in the back. And I told myself, you better get together and compose yourself and stay within yourself. And you know, I knew I wanted to pitch well, but you just don't want to overdo it.
Through 8 innings, Scott wasn't only winning, he had a no-hitter.
I think I get more butterflies watching somebody else do. When Nolan came close a couple of times, Jim DeShays came close. But when you're actually out there pitching, you're concentrating so much, and there's a million thoughts going through your head. Like, you know, it was 2-0, so I didn't want to walk anybody. You can't just lay the ball in there and lose the ball game. And you don't want to throw a fat pitch, obviously, when you get to the 8th inning. You still want to throw a no-hitter, but there's too many thoughts going through your head to get nervous at that point.
The hitter is Will Clark. He's 0 for 3. Swing and a bouncer. This could be it. Davis runs to the bag. Game is over. No-hitter. Astros win the championship. What a way to do it. A no-hitter. Mike Scott has just thrown his first career no-hitter, and the Astros are the National League champions of the West.
Thanks to the Cy Young winner's performance, Houston was in the League Championship Series for the 2nd time, and this one would be no less exciting than the first against the Phillies. Game 1 matched Scott against Dwight Gooden of the Mets, and the only run of the game came in the 2nd inning.
Pitch to Davis, fly ball deep center field. Right swivel wall, and that's out of here. Home run for Glenn Davis.
First pitch, he threw me a fastball right out of the plate, and I was just so pumped that I just aired it out. And you know, my whole I wasn't even worried about my mechanics or my style or my head moving or whatever. I just swung the bat with all force and made contact and got it just enough to get it out of the ballpark.
When the two teams came back to Houston for Game 6, the Mets led the series 3-2. The Astros had to sweep a pair, and Mike Scott, who had been untouchable in the first game and again in Game 4, would be ready if the series went to a 7th game.
We all knew that we had Scotty going the next day, so we figured if we get through this one, we got it wrapped up.
Both teams no doubt had that in mind when Houston scored 3 times in the first inning off Bob Ojeda. Bob Nepper carried that 3-0 lead until the 9th, when the Mets bounced back to tie. To no one's surprise, the Astros were in another extra inning game. New York was 1 out away from a win in the 14th when Billy Hatcher came to bat.
Ready, pitch to Hatcher. There's a drive, way back into left field. It is gone. A foul pole home run. Holy Toledo.
On it went. In the 16th, New York led by 3 again, but the Astros came back to score twice and had 2 men on with Kevin Bass at the plate.
I worked the count full and not really realizing that Jose Cruz, who was on deck behind me, a left-handed hitter with an open base, you know, thinking in my mind that he's got to throw me a fat strike with the count 3-2. And what does he do? He bounces a curveball or throws a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, and I waved at it.
In maybe the greatest playoff game ever, the Astros once again had fallen 1 run short. Getting there is one thing, but winning a world championship becomes the goal this coming year and last. Never before in 25 years had the team put together winning streaks like the '89 Astros. It all began in New York, of all places. Jim DeShays shutting out the Mets on 5 hits, and his teammates, especially Kevin Bass, roughing up Dwight Gooden. Bass stole not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 bases, had 3 hits, and scored 3 runs in the 5-0 win. That performance got the Astros ready for Montreal. The Expos were coming to the Dome, and Houston had to put on its game face. Montreal had won the first 2 games and was running away with the 3rd.
The 1-1. Whoa! That might have been a little answer for asking to look at the ball. We're going to have a bench-clearing brawl in Houston.
I didn't know there was any bad blood between me and the Expos, but, you know, all I kept hearing was, there's Darwin, get him out there, and there's a few of them got me, and I don't know, as they said, because I'd hit a few of their guys, you know, and none of them was intentional if I did.
Who'd you grab in the fight?
I grabbed Wallace Johnson, and tried to get around him, and then next thing you know, he had me. And I seen Mike Fitzgerald getting a little rambunctious with Danny Darwin, so I went to dive after him, and I think I ended up catching a cleat at chin or something, but I came up out of it pretty easy.
Where were you when that was going on?
I was in the clubhouse, as a matter of fact.
Watching.
Yeah, well, it was the most helpless feeling in the world. I'd gone up there to use the bathroom, and I grabbed a cup of coffee or whatever, and so I said, well, I might as well see, so I can replay to the boys, let them know who got the best shots in. So I kind of watched, and poor Danny had about 7 guys on top of him, and he was giving everything he had. And
maybe we just needed something to wake us up a little bit. We came out, we started playing good ball after that.
I think it's coincidence. And a lot of people believe that it doesn't make a difference. But if you ever convince me that it makes a difference, I'll probably start a fight every time I go out there. Because if it makes you win 6 out of 7, and you really believe that, why wouldn't you do it? And I thought it brought our team together. You hate to say a fight is what motivates a team, but when you see teammates fighting for each other and sticking up for each other and trying to help each other, it goes a long way. And we came out after that, and we started playing real good team baseball.
DeShays made up for it 2 days later in Chicago, throwing his second straight complete game victory to really get the ball rolling.
You want to pick up wins when you're pitching well, because you have those cycles when you don't pitch quite as well, so you need to contribute when you can. And
the next day, 3 Astros pitchers limited Chicago to 3 hits and a 1-0 win, the only run scoring on Gerald Young's 8th-inning single. Mike Scott came back with a complete game 4-hitter. The Astros had their first series sweep of the year, and the Road Warriors were born. Next stop, Pittsburgh, and another 3-game sweep. Glenn Davis homered in each game, this one in the 9th, sending the middle contest into extra innings.
Usually when you hit them in bunches. Reggie Jackson used to say that when you do hit them, they're like that, and when you do hit them, they're mistakes. Sometimes you don't even know what happened.
Then Ramirez came up with 2 on in the 12th, a situation he was becoming very adept at.
And this time he gets it into center. Davis will score. Van Slyke whirls around, and the Astros have a 5-4 lead.
I like to be in a situation like that, especially late in the game, because the other manager think I'm a free swinger and I swing almost everything. In this situation coming to me, I just try to be a little bit more patient and try to hit only one pitch, not like only in the game. I just swing everything.
Davis hit a 3-run shot in the finale, Caminetti a solo blast, 6 wins in a row for the Road Warriors, and it was on to St. Louis for the Craig Biggio Show.
It's a fair ball, and Biggio's come through. Poole heads in to score. Ramirez is going to get the go-ahead. Here's Vince Coleman's looping throw, and onto the plate, not in time.
That made it 3-0, but the Cardinals bounced back with 2 runs in the 8th, and they were still threatening with Vince Coleman on second and Willie McGee on first.
To the point where he finally made a mistake to the hitter. Boy, you don't want to do that with Guerrero up there. He's going. Biggio throws to second, and they got McGee. He made the heads-up play, and he got McGee because Coleman definitely had third base stolen cold.
In the 9th, Dave Smith came on and got a save for the 3rd time in 4 days.
Smith wants the appeal. He went around. He went around.
And the road winning streak was now at 8.
Some people say you're fearless out there on the mound. Is that true?
I guess it looks that way, but no. Let's say I have respect for hitters, So I definitely, like I say, have respect for certain hitters, and that's, I don't know if that's fear or being smart.
Caminetti would make it 9 in a row with the biggest day of his career, getting 2 runs batted in with this 2nd-inning double. 2 more with this home run in the 7th.
Right field, Brunansky.
And for good measure, an RBI single in the 8th gave him a 5 RBI day. The youngster Art Howe had made a fixture in the lineup, was paying dividends.
I think I needed a year like this where I was playing every day, to get over the hump, get over the jitters, know that I'm going to be in the lineup, and hopefully next year I can put up some little bit better numbers.
The next day, Biggio and Caminetti had to share top billing as the Road Warriors made it a club record 10 in a row. It was tied in the 9th when Caminetti singled, but he knew he had to get into scoring position.
Caminetti's going. Pena's throw is not going to get him.
Biggio then brought him home with another double, and the Astros had become the best road team in the National League.
Bouncing high for a ground rule double. The Astros take the lead 4-3.
The momentum continued at home in the Dome as the Dodgers came to town, and Astros fans needed to buckle their seatbelts for this homestand.
Probably the most exciting streak that I've ever been involved in baseball.
In on the hands, Griffin comes to the plate, it bounces, and Socha can't hold it. The run scored. Hatcher will go ahead for third, and the relay's dropped, so he's in without a throw. Doran gets the throw off. It's in the dirt, but Davis dug it out. Whoa, baby.
Houston jumped out to a 7-0 lead in the opener as Jim Deshaies was spectacular, carrying a no-hitter into the 8th.
Hatcher coming up now, 0 for 3, struck out in the 6th inning. Deshaies deflects, and that means tough play, Ramirez. He cannot get it. And off Deshaies' glove, ball might have been fielded, but he was going for it. So it is a base hit, the first for the Dodgers in the game. And Deshaies will get the standing ovation from 18,488 paid.
It was just another outstanding performance from the southpaw, who would go on to a career-high 15 wins and personal best in 9 other categories.
Certainly feel like you're more of a complete pitcher now than you were a couple of years ago.
A different pitcher, yeah. I think I rely on my changeup more. I think right now, at least second half of this season, or I'd say for this whole season, the changeup's been my best pitch. Not that I've always been perfect with it, but it's a pitch that when I have a good one, I'll go to on any count, in any situation, and it's helped me quite a bit.
One night later, Mike Scott and Fernando Valenzuela hooked up in a pitcher's duel, and the Astros won it in the 7th with an unearned run. Little did both teams know they were just beginning one of the strangest weekends in baseball history. The Dodgers and Astros were about to become marathon men. Saturday night, Los Angeles jumped out to a 3-0 lead off Bob Knepper. In the 4th, Glenn Davis cut that margin with a solo home run, his 13th.
There's a drive way back into left. Ballpark will never hold it. Big bopper bangs one, and the Astros are on the board.
In the bottom of the 6th, it was still a 3-run LA lead, but the comeback magic was about to begin.
A base hit into left field. One run will score. Davis is going to score behind Doran. It's a one-run game in the Dome. Holy Toledo, what a big hit by Ken Caminetti.
Moments later, Rafael Ramirez tied it.
There is a wait, score tied.
It was the last run either team and 35,000 fans would see for a while, thanks to some great defense.
Davis and Trevino. Will there be room? Davis, yeah, he hopped the fence and got it. What a play. He hopped right into the dugout and made that catch.
And some splendid pitching by both sides began to dominate. Larry Anderson threw 3 scoreless innings, and in the 11th was lifted for a pinch hitter, Craig Reynolds.
A crowd of 35,991 treated to a bonus tonight. Extra innings, many have stayed.
Little did they know how big that bonus would be. But in that same inning, it looked like the Astros were going to win it.
Again, the 1-2 pitch is coming. Shelby backs up. Reynolds is tagging. Here comes the battle. Shelby with a throw. Reynolds coming in. Socha blocks the plate, and he is out.
In the 15th, the Astros threatened again, loading the bases with only 1 out.
The Dodgers are bringing everybody in. All Alex has to do is get a medium deep fly ball, and this baby's over.
There's the fly ball, but can Gwynn get the throw home? Here's the tag at third. Here's the throw to the plate, and another collision, and Terry Poole is out.
At one point, you know, in the middle innings, well, the latter innings, I should say, when the game just kept wearing on, and you kept looking up at the clock, and it was 1 o'clock. Next thing you know, it was 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you start to wonder, you know, is this day ever going to end?
Jim Deshaies is going to bat. Wow.
I mean, I'll tell my grandchildren, yeah, I pinch hit for Oro Hershiser in the 15th, 17th inning, whatever it was.
And did what?
Well, it's inconsequential. Look it up. You know what I did.
Deshaies takes strike 3.
In the 18th, it was Jim Clancy's turn to make his first relief appearance of the year.
I think we ran out of pitchers, and I was the next one, you know, as a starter. And
hey, I'll go out there anytime. You know, I'll take my chances going out there.
He and Hershiser matched goose eggs, and the night wore on.
So the gentleman watched the first inning in Hawaii, got on a plane, flew to L.A., is now in his hotel in Los Angeles, watching inning number 19.
By the 20th frame, the scoreless streak for the Dodgers had reached 14 consecutive innings, but they had men on second and third with nobody out. Clancy got a strikeout, and then some help from Caminetti.
Caminetti diving, gets up, throws to the plate. They got Scioscia in a rundown, and he is out. What a play by Caminetti.
The game wore on. We just started getting a little bit more aggressive and able to put guys on base. And once the Dodgers brought in Hamilton, we definitely thought we could win.
Of course, most of the Astros hadn't seen Jeff Hamilton pitch. Lasorda opened the 21st with Eddie Murray moving to the hot corner, Fernando Valenzuela playing first base, and Jeff Hamilton on the mound. And he wasn't conceding anything.
I was sitting behind home plate up here, and somebody said that was 90 miles an hour, and here's a third baseman, and his next pitch was 92, and he was consistent 90 miles an hour. I'm wondering why this guy's playing third base.
Billy Doran led off the 22nd with a single and went to second on a fielder's choice. Hamilton bore down, and Caminetti became the 31st player to strike out in an at-bat in this record-setting contest. And that brought up Ramirez again.
I say in my mind, I say, if somebody in base and I come to, the hit, I'm going to finish this game. Like I told a couple guys in the dugout, and I'm lucky to do it.
And he's been trying tonight and trying. Base hit off Fernando's glove. Billy Doran's coming to the plate. Here's a throw from Davis. He is bowling over Scioscia. He's safe. And Doran has scored the winning run.
It was the Astros' 9th win in a row, but there wasn't much time to rest.
Went home and got about 3 hours of sleep and turned around and came back for another extra inning game.
But it looked like anything but overtime early on, the Dodgers jumping out to a 6-0 lead with the help of a Mike Scioscia grand slam. But no lead was insurmountable as far as these Astros were concerned.
I thought it reminded me of 86. We had a bunch of come-from-behind wins in 86, won 20-some games in our last at-bat, and it felt that way. The dome was alive. People were going nuts.
The comeback magic began in the 5th. Louis Meadows up with the bases loaded.
2-0 pitch coming to Meadows. Here it is from Belcher. There's a drive to right field. Louis Meadows is hooking, and it is gone! Grand slam, Louis Meadows!
That closed the gap to 6-5, and it stayed that way thanks to some good glove work.
Is ready, and the 2-2 on the way. Swing and a line drive. Caminetti got it! Holy Toledo, an acrobat at third. He caught that ball on a trampoline. And the pitch to Griffin, a bouncer left side. Reynolds there. Grabs it, throws, and got him. He got an AstroTurf bounce.
Still, it was 6-5 Dodgers when Jay Howell came in to pitch the 9th. Ramirez and Reynolds flied out, and the winning streak was only 1 out away from being over.
Jay Howell ready, pitch on the way. Swinging, fly ball, left field, it's deep, it's up, it's gone. Holy Toledo. Craig Biggio has jacked one out of here. The first time in 2 years that the Astros have been able to score a run off Howell, and we are tied.
It's just, staying within myself and not trying to hit home runs, trying to hit line drives, trying to hit the ball hard, and home runs will come. And at the end of the year, you look up and you say, heck, you had 13 home runs or whatever amount of home runs you have. It's nothing that I'm looking to do. It's kind of a mistake, just trying to drive the ball, and it's happened to go out of the park for me.
The Dodgers could not believe it. Extra innings again. And again in the 12th inning, L.A. looked like they would salvage a win. Chris Gwynn tripling to right center with 1 out, and that brought up Dave Anderson.
But the Dodgers have a runner at third. And a line drive into left field coming on. Reynolds has got it. Throw to the plate, and it'll be out at the plate. Holy Toledo, what a play by Reynolds. He'll get handshakes from everybody.
Throws off balance from left field and nails the guy at the plate. It was possibly the best play I've seen. Not so much for the play itself, but for the timing of it, the fact that the guy was out of position. We played for 9 hours or whatever it was. It was a great play.
That was my only assist from the outfield in all my time in the big leagues. I just came up throwing like as if I were at shortstop, and it just happened to be at home plate and worked out pretty good. But
I got a kick out of the tape some people gave me of the tape of watching Tommy Lasorda's reaction in the dugout. I got as big a kick out of that as I did the play itself.
An inning later, Houston loaded the bases with nobody out. That brought up Mike Scott, who had surprisingly come in to pitch in the top of the inning.
There's a fly ball, center field, it's not deep. Runner at third tagging, he's headed home. The throw to the plate will be late. The Astros win. The Astros win again. The Astros have swept the Dodgers, and the Astros are only a half a game out.
You win games pitching, but you don't win them hitting too often, so that was pretty fun.
This whole streak was a lot of fun, and it was helping a young team build confidence.
And that's when everybody starts saying, hey, maybe these guys are for real. And we never doubted ourselves.
But the extra inning games had taken their toll. Art Howe had to dip into the minor league pool to find a starter the following night when San Diego came to town. His choice, right-hander Mark Portugal.
I had a rough day traveling that day. I remember coming from Canada. I traveled all day. I was tired when I got here. I think I was pitching on adrenaline out there and trying to be Superman and do everything, and just had a bad game. Danny Darwin and a couple of guys before the game were trying to keep me loose, and hey, this team's never won 11 games in a row. It's all on your shoulders. Go out there, pitch a shutout, hit a home run, and we win. And I said, hey, that sounds great. I wish it could have turned out that way.
Portugal got roughed up for 6 runs in 4 innings to end the team's 10-game winning streak, the longest in the National League for the year. It would be the only blemish on the right-hander's record all season, and his teammates didn't wait long to get another streak of their own going. But it was the most improbable of wins, and quite possibly the most miraculous comeback in Astrodome history. The Astros trailed 7-4 with 2 outs and nobody on in the bottom of the 9th.
Hey, let's go. Let's win this thing. Now, Billy Doran, right man in the right spot.
Bill Doran singled to left.
Doran gets the first hit off him.
Glenn Davis walked.
He does walk, Glenn.
And Ken Caminetti walked as well.
And it's ball 4. Harris thought he had...
The Padres brought in their ace, Mark Davis, out of the bullpen, and he walked Ramirez to force in a run. Craig Biggio pinch hit and got the 4th consecutive free pass, but Houston was still 1 run down. With Alex Trevino up, the Astros were down to their last strike.
And a strikeout in the dirt. Santiago will tag it, and it gets by. He didn't tag him and hold it. The tying run scores. He did not hold on to the ball. All he had to do was step on the plate for the final out, and instead he tried to tag the runner. Caminetti scored, and the game is tied.
As soon as I strike out, I take off for first base. I say, well, you know, I'm going to make him make a throw, and you know, anytime you make the catch or make a throw, anything can happen.
The Padres were stunned, and in the 10th, with Doran on first, Glenn Davis completed the comeback.
Biff Roberts bobbles the ball. Billy Doran's being waved home. Here's the relay from Alomar to the plate. The Astros win it.
The next night, Mike Scott got his 10th win, and Terry Poole's RBI double in the 6th moved the Astros into a tie for first place in the West. And the following evening, another magic act. Down 5-1 in the 9th, Houston came back to tie it again. And then for the second time in 3 games, Davis won it in extra innings.
Lefty ready, 1-1 pitch. Swinging, high fly ball, left field, it's back, it's up. Holy Toledo, it's gone. The Astros win. The Astros win again. Man, oh man, what a team.
If I'd have been a fan, I'd have wished I'd had all tickets for every game, because you're not going to see a better week of baseball than happened that week when the Dodgers and San Diego were in here.
And Darwin wasn't going to let it end. He picked up saves on both ends of a 3-game sweep of the Braves. Bill Doran's grand slam in the finale provided the winning runs, and Dr. Death making it stand up with the bases loaded in the 9th. The Astros had won 16 of 17, 10 of 11 in the Dome, tying their best homestand ever, and had moved into sole possession of first place in the Western Division.
That was incredible. I think that showed what this club can do when everybody's playing up to their potential.
The character was built when we had that stretch because we proved to ourselves that we could play.
You thought at that point that you were going to go on and win it all, didn't you?
I thought we'd definitely be there at the end.
Art was right, and he had the bullpen to thank for much of the success. Houston relievers would chalk up 29 wins, the most in the majors, and the leader of the pack was the bottom bullet, Danny Darwin, who tied a club record for wins out of the pen with 11.
That's the way to throw the ball, Danny.
You know, it's really the first year in a long time I can remember that where I went the whole year doing one role, you know, whether it be starting or relieving. But one thing I've learned, my arm can stand it. And, you know, that's what I'm happy with more than anything. It's just that I'm able to go out and be able to pitch every day if needed.
He proved he had a rubber arm. I mean, the guy could just throw, and he wanted to throw. That's a real big plus for a reliever.
In the Dome, Darwin was unbeatable, going 7-0 with a 1.98 earned run average. And by the end of the year, he had piled up 122 innings and 104 strikeouts, league highs in both categories for relievers.
I think early in the year, it took me a while to realize to the point to where I needed to be to come into a game and throw those 6 or 7 warm-up tosses and be ready.
He was the workhorse in the bullpen, and that really benefited me more than anything.
Let's just get Andy up, throw a little bit just in case.
Anderson wasn't too bad himself, leading the league's bullpen artist with a 1.54 ERA. He didn't allow an earned run in his first 15 appearances, and he gave up only 15 all year.
I think you get that confidence when you're having success. Things are going right for you. You get that feeling that you can go out and face anybody and they're not going to be able to touch you.
Opposing hitters often said Andy's slider was the best they'd faced all year.
It's my bread and butter pitch, and I throw it 90% of the time, and I guess it's a good feeling that to go out there and I know they know it's coming, and I know I'm throwing it, and to still be successful is it's a big just a boost to my confidence.
Add in big contributions from left-handers Dan Schatzeder and Juan Augusto, who became the first Astro ever to have 2 seasons with more than 70 appearances, as well as closer Dave Smith, who led the team in saves for the 5th year in a row with 25, and the Astrodome's reputation for hosting great pitching had continued. But the ace of the staff, again, was Mike Scott. Beginning with his 3rd straight opening day win, a 10-3 decision over Atlanta, continuing with his 100th career victory May 14th at Chicago, and including a 1-hit shutout over Pittsburgh, Scotty was 14-5 at the All-Star break and went on to a career-high 20 victories, his first 20-win season, and only the 4th Astro pitcher ever to accomplish that feat.
I don't ever put a goal on wins. They're nice to have. I mean, I don't want to go out there and win 5 games in 1 year and say, yeah, I pitched pretty well. You have to, the bottom line is winning ball games, but my bottom line is giving our team a chance to win, whether I get the W or the relief pitcher does.
The milestone came in September in L.A., and his teammates provided a big boost. Craig Biggio hitting a grand slam and getting 6 RBI on the day.
Grand slam for Craig Biggio, the first of his big...
And while Scott may not have been as dominant as his Cy Young year in 1986, he feels he's a better pitcher now.
To be successful, you got to learn something every year. You've got to adjust every year, and if you don't, you're going to eventually get beat. And I think as my velocity has gone down a little bit, I've learned how to give up a walk here and there, not challenge everybody in every situation, and try to stay away from big innings. And
down the stretch in August and September, no Astro starter was hotter than the newest Astro starter, Mark Portugal. Stolen away from Minnesota in an off-season deal, the veteran right-hander came up from the minors for the 2nd time July 15th. His 2nd start was 2 weeks later on national television against the first-place Giants in the Dome.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out.
Taking nothing away from Kevin. He's a pretty good friend of mine. But as hot as he had been the whole year, hitting home runs and just setting the world on fire, it was a big thrill for me to get him out 3 times on strikes.
Portugal limited San Francisco to 3 hits for his first complete game, and the young guns brought out the heavy artillery. Eric Anthony started it with his first Major League homer off Rick Rushell. Craig Biggio followed, then Ken Caminetti, and finally Glenn Davis. 4 Dome homers for the first time in Astro history, and Portugal had impressed the Giants in an 8-1 win.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strikeout, game is over. Astros win.
Couldn't put my finger on it. I think had a couple of starts where I threw the ball well, and after that Artie told me that I'd be going out there every 5th day, and that just boosted my confidence.
And it showed. He beat the Giants twice more, and September 17th he got homer support from Caminetti again and outdueled Tom Browning in a 1-0 win, his first shutout. He struck out 9 and was rolling toward a 7-game personal winning streak, the longest for an Astro starter since 1983.
He's gone. He thought he had a walk. But it's strike 3 called.
Has this winning streak surprised you at all?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said it didn't. I go out there to win every game I pitch, but to win 7 in a row and be on such a good groove like this, I didn't expect it. I'm happy it's here. I hope it continues.
That second half performance no doubt earned the right-hander a spot in Art Howe's plans for 1990.
Yeah, hopefully I'm here to stay now.
Catch it out in front. Come on, guys.
There's a knock. Get up. Way out.
The big bat for the Astros once again was Glenn Davis, leading the club in home runs for the 5th straight year and in runs batted in for the 4th season in a row.
Is there 1 or 2 home runs you hit this year that really stand out in your mind?
I think the 2 that I hit during the Cubs series, later on during the season, the one I hit in center field here in the Astrodome that hit off the back of the black tarp, that was probably one of the longest home runs I've ever hit. The other one was the night before. Whenever you hit the ball to right center, Bruce, and particularly with power, and you drive the ball that way and it goes about 10 rows up in the seat, I mean, you got to be doing everything right. And when I seen that, it was just like an assurance factor. Hey, you're on them. You know, you're zeroed in. Stay right there.
Glenn would hit 34 homers, the second best year ever for an Astro slugger, moving him to 3rd place on the all-time Astros home run list. But Davis has his sights set on higher ground.
I always think about being the home run king here in the Astro organization, being able to break that record here in the Astrodome. I mean, 38 home runs, that's an accomplishment here. I have a goal to do that one day, and as long as I play here, I'm going to keep doing my best to hit as many as I can.
Before his career is through, I think he'll have more home runs than Jimmy Wynn or anyone else that's worn the Astros suit. I guess with the possible exception of Eddie Matthews, who was here for a while and hit over 500 home runs.
The 1989 Astros began the year with a new attitude that continued throughout the season.
I can feel it, man. They're waiting to get me.
It was a feeling created by new manager Art Howe intentionally.
Because it's tough enough to go out there and do your job and have somebody harping on you from the bench consistently who's supposed to be on your side. So I just basically wanted to let the players know I was behind them 100%.
But Art preferred to give credit to the youngsters, especially Caminetti and Biggio, for the team's style of play.
We just seemed to catch on fire because of both his and Cammy's enthusiasm. They just went out there with reckless abandon and wanted to show people that they belonged in the big leagues. And I think you can ask a lot of the veterans on our club, and I think it gave them a lift to see that all out, let's go get them, boys, and no matter what the score is, we still have a chance to win attitude.
Caminetti blossomed after Art told him in spring training that he would be in the lineup every day, hitting .255 with 10 homers and 72 runs batted in, second only to Davis.
I knew he had the talent after the first day I saw him on a baseball field.
But the part of Ken's game that stood out was his defense.
Hit hard, diving Caminetti. He throws it low, and he got him.
Playing in 161 games, the most ever by an Astro third baseman, Caminetti dazzled fans and teammates alike almost daily with fantastic glove work and a rifle arm.
I don't really work at diving as much as I used to because of the way this 46-year-old, 26-year-old body's acting up, but I do take pride in a ball down the line that I can, come close. I kind of get mad if I don't get it. Or if I do get it and I throw it away, then I'm really mad.
There's an art to being in the right place at the right time, and it starts before the pitch.
When I see the pitcher coming through after my corner vision over here, I'm looking at the hitter's back foot to see if he's going to maybe try and square one down or lay one down or watching that area. And then right as the ball is being released, I'm looking right up in front of the plate. Because if that bat head from a right-hand hitter comes across that plate right there, it's coming to me somewhere. And a lot of times you'll see me, when I see the ball coming here and I see that bat head coming, I'm already breaking towards the line.
Out of all those outstanding efforts, there are a couple that stand out in Ken's mind.
I think the one that I took from the Pirates, JR, was probably the best one all year, but that was instinct, and that was a ball that I could have got to, but it did take the bad hop, and I just reacted.
Holy Toledo, what a play! Corner to corner.
The one I look at the most, the one that amazed me the most was the one hit from a left-handed back, Martinez from Montreal Expos. And he hit a shot one hopper, and I just threw my body, knocked it down, threw from my knees. I think to me that was probably the best play I've ever made in my career.
Holy Toledo, unbelievable. The play of the game, one of the plays of the year. Caminiti takes a double away from Martinez and a standing ovation in the dome.
He's got as good a raw talent as anybody.
I tell you, anytime the ball's hit there, you know if he does knock it down, he's going to throw him out with the gun he's got over there. But, you know, he's got a good chance of being a Gold Glove third baseman.
He's my vote this year for the Golden Glove at third. I don't think anybody could have played better third base than Cam. And
needless to say, the pitchers loved him. But maybe the greatest compliment came that night in August in the Dome when Kenny saved a win for Jimmy Deshaies.
I gave him the game ball. It was a complete game, and I didn't have very good stuff that day. And I think my quote was, I had a good Caminiti. I gave him the ball.
You know, I said, no, you deserve it. You pitched a great game. He goes, no, you deserve it, you know. The game would have been a little different outcome if you didn't make some of those plays.
And he told us what he wrote on it.
To Ken Caminiti, who made Brooks Robinson look mediocre.
It was unbelievable the day he had. It reminded me of, you see that clip of Brooks all the time in the 70 series against Cincinnati.
What a play coming in to get Jay Bell.
Everyone loves surprises, and the Astros got a good one behind the plate in 1989. The team gambled in May, making 23-year-old Craig Biggio the starting catcher, and neither the Astros nor the first-round draft pick took the time to look back. Houston would win 23 of its first 29 games with Biggio behind the plate.
When I first saw him 2 springs ago, the impression he made on me just at spring training was the best of anyone that I saw come up through our organization since Cedeno.
And Biggio's teammates agreed as they anxiously watched the young catcher develop into a top-flight all-around player.
He's been real consistent the whole year, and that's something that really stands out in my mind.
Craig was a catalyst. During that long winning streak in late May and early June, Biggio put together a 12-game hitting streak, a club record for catchers. He became only the 7th backstop since 1900 to steal at least 20 bases, finishing with 21 in 24 tries, the top success rate in the National League. And did he ever have a flair for the dramatic?
Biggio, a towering shot to left, and he's got it! A 3-run homer.
The little guy played big, at one point even batting leadoff, almost unheard of for a catcher, but testimony to Art Howe's confidence in him.
It made me more disciplined, whereas I started taking more pitches. And it made me get to know the strike zone a little more better than when I was hitting eighth. When I was hitting eighth, I was just kind of going up there hacking and swinging at anything that they're throwing up there.
Bidge would finish with 13 homers and 60 runs batted in, good enough to make the UPI All-Star team and win a Silver Slugger Award. And defensively, there was no better receiver in the National League.
He has the tenacity to work behind the plate. I think defensively, receiving the ball, he was as good as anybody in our league, maybe better.
I think every pitcher on this pitching staff has all the confidence in the world with him back there. You're not scared to bounce a breaking ball when you need to, you know, in an 0-2 pitch or whatever, because you know he's going to block it.
I'm just taking it in stride, taking it one game at a time, and trying to learn as much as I can. And I've had the opportunity to learn from a bunch of older guys here, and I'm glad that I can look back someday when my career's over and say, you know, when I broke into the big leagues, I had the opportunity to listen to guys like Yogi Berra, Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott, and Billy Dorns, and, you know, people with that type of caliber, and I'm very fortunate to be in the situation that I've been in.
As the clock wound down on the first 25 years in the Dome, a couple of Astros put on their uniform for the last time. Veteran infielder Craig Reynolds announced September 27th that he was finishing his last season, closing a career that began at Houston Reagan High School and ended with 11 years as an Astro.
It's tough knowing that I'll be leaving this Astrodome and never coming back again as a ball player. It's a hard thing to deal with, a hard thing to cope with, but you still have to make the decision that you think is best for you and your family, and it's time for me to walk away.
One of the most popular players the Astros have ever had, Reynolds was Mr. Versatility, playing all 4 infield positions and occasionally taking a turn in the outfield or on the mound. He had a lot of great moments, including Houston's only pinch hit home run at St. Louis off John Costello.
Reynolds hits one deep right field. Stay fair, and if it does, it's big trouble. It's gone.
Craig fittingly dedicated the hit to his son Kyle as a birthday present, but Reynolds was caught in the middle.
The one thing I like to do is play the World Series, especially in Houston. I like to play for the World Series, and that's the one thing I guess in my career that's eluded me. That if I could say that, it's not a regret, but one thing I would like to have done.
At the Astros' final home game of the year, Reynolds made his last appearance in the Dome as a pinch hitter.
I know the last night here in the Dome is going to be a difficult night, knowing I won't come back in here to play anymore. It's a great game. I have no regrets about the game. It's been wonderful for me and my family. Playing in Houston in front of my family, in front of my friends, and for this organization has been great. Now, no one owes me anything. If anything, I have a debt to the fans and to the organization, and especially to my family. To have played here 11 years has been really special for me and for my family, like I said. I'm going to miss it.
The feeling, no doubt, is mutual. Houston also said goodbye to one of baseball's legends. Yogi Berra announced late in the season he was hanging up his uniform.
Ain't too many guys been in this game for 42 years, Bruce, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I think it's time to go home a little bit and play around with the grandkids a little bit.
The Astros hitting coach and an assistant to Art Howe on the bench, Berra had been with the club 4 years.
I owe Yogi an awful lot for the stability he helped bring to this club while I was here, and his calm on the bench. I mean, nothing seems to rattle Yogi, because Yogi's been through everything.
My gosh, I played 17 years with the Yankees. I was in 14 World Series, won 10 of them. I managed in both leagues. I won 10 in each one. I was the most valuable player 3 times, got in the Hall of Fame. How much more could I ask for, Bruce?
The man is just filled with knowledge, and I think that I've picked his brain as much as that I can pick it, and if I didn't do that, I would have been wasting.
There were plenty of big moments, but one stands out in Yogi's mind.
Don Larson's a no-hitter. It's got to be. There hasn't been, nobody's ever pitched one yet. This game's over 100 years, and a perfect one at that. That's the funny part about it.
Can you pick a best player, the best player you ever saw?
Well, DeMont's got to be the best player I ever saw. That's for a player now. For a hitter, Ted Williams, I have to say.
Yogi knew baseball, and he knew how to make people laugh, intentionally or not. And he leaves these Astros with a lot of memories and Yogiisms.
Went into order a pizza and got the pizza done, and the guy said, "Yogi, you want this cut up into 4 slices or 8?" And he says, "Well, you better just make it 4. I don't think I could eat all 8.
We were golfing at Lake Nona, and he was complaining about the greens because they'd just been aerated. And he goes, "How the heck are you supposed to putt on marinated greens?"
Aurelio Lopez and Charlie Kerfeld and Anderson, I believe, had the Conehead mask on. And I was there for this one. And it's not as great as some of the other ones, but I can verify this one anyway. And the quote was, "Those 3 guys make quite a pair."
Yogi, did you say all those things they say you said?
Some are true, Bruce, and some aren't. No, they're not all true. But I do come up with it because I could sit with the kids at home and my wife, and, we'd be talking, and they'd say, "Oh, there he said another one. There's another Yogiism, and all that." I really don't know. It just comes out. Just like when I said it ain't over till it's over. It just came out.
What time is it, Yogi?
Now.
As one legend leaves, another era is beginning.
I don't think there's anything that is more encouraging to a baseball organization than the development of young talent and the anticipation of young players that get established in the big leagues, becoming stars in the big leagues.
Astro fans got a glimpse of the future from this young man, Eric Anthony, in 1989.
Swinging, there's a drive, way back into right center field. It's up, it's gone. Holy Toledo!
I'll remember that, probably for the rest of my career. It was a great moment, for me, anyways.
Did you know when you hit it, it was out?
Yeah.
It was the first of 4 homers Anthony would hit with Houston after terrorizing minor league pitchers and being touted as the next great power hitter in the big leagues.
It's a lot of pressure, but,
you just have to go out every at bat and swing the bat like you can, and your natural stroke will take over and the ball will go.
He's got the chance of becoming the next superstar power hitter in baseball. I mean, he possesses all types of power to all fields.
He can hit it as far as anybody that walked out on the baseball field, and like I said, he enjoys playing, and he's got a quiet confidence about himself, which is really exciting for a manager to see in a young player. A young player who has that, he's not cocky, but he's confident, and he knows he can do the job, and that's going to take him a long way.
I'd like to start all over with his ability.
Or Darryl Kiles, the hard-throwing young right-hander who's making a meteoric rise through the minor league system. You can't teach velocity, and Kyle has it, winning 11 of his last 15 decisions at Columbus.
If you start developing a guy every year, and some years 2 guys, after 4 or 5 years of that, you find yourself with a good young team. And I think the Astros are on their way to that type of a trend.
Here's the pitch to him. Swinging in a broken bat, slice liner, caught by Yelding to the third.
Add in youngsters like Eric Yelding, who showed flashes of brilliance last season, Mark Portugal, Gerald Young, who led all National League outfielders in assists with 15, and Caminetti and Biggio, and the future looks as exciting as the past. And while the '89 Astros came together under Art Howe, Houston's young guns have their own work of art. Caminetti, Young, and Biggio have their own poster coming soon to a store near you, and they're ready for action in 1990.
Sooner or later, that last week, they're going to be chasing you if you continue to go at it the way we did this year, and hopefully this coming season is going to be that year.
most of the pitchers hit better this year?
I've been working with them.
Only going to ask you this once. Is it irrevocable?
Is it irrevocable? That's easy for you to say. Spell it. I feel like it is, yeah.
Some guys are born to hit. Other guys make themselves good hitters. Which are you?
I'd have to say born. Definitely.
You just always felt like you could hit the ball?
It's just instinct, you know. It's always been able to hit.
What's your favorite kind of food?
I like any kind, as long as it's good.
As long as you can eat it.
That's right.